Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Doctor. Today, we're going to be talking about the new Fenrir card and the new Fenrir Esper that's going to be coming out, whether he's worth pulling for, and whether or not you should be pursuing him later on tonight. Of course, I didn't forget to tell you, the weather out here in the Pacific Northwest is beautiful as always, and thank you so much for asking in the comments every time. All right, guys. Well, we found out in the news release last week that the upcoming units this week were going to be Fenrir and the Unreaching Affection card. And you know, there's a lot of thought that went into this, and I think it's really important to put into perspective whether or not Fenrir is going to be worth pulling for you, and whether or not you level up Unreaching Affection. TLDR though, I can tell you I'm going to be pulling, if there's a 10k guaranteed step up for Fenrir, I am going to pull for it tonight on stream, just because I feel like he is potentially one of the best Espers of the game, and the card is the first of its kind. Adding stats to stats like agility and dexterity are something we haven't seen before on a card. Not only that, it is the only card that adds magic attack resistance up and single unit magic HP up, and Fenrir is the second Esper to have magic attack resistance up, but in my opinion is the only really viable Esper with magic resistance on his kit. Let's talk real quickly about Unreaching Affection. Party ability, wind attack up, and max HP up. I'm gonna say this card is a bit of a trap, and there's a couple cards in this game that are traps, and I'm gonna show you guys why here. So let's real quick just go to warthevisioncalc.com. If you guys aren't familiar, Bismarck is a very good friend of the channel. He does run warthevisionscalc.com. We had an awesome interview with him just recently, so make sure you guys check that out. Now, we're going to be comparing the new card with Tetrasylphid. And the reason we're going to do that is because it's important to understand how good the party ability wind attack is in comparison to Tetrasylphid. Now, you can see here, Tetrasylphid, if you just have her, like Tetrasylphid in the raw, nothing else, that is just 15 party-wide wind attack ability and accuracy up. That's really good. And when we go to the other card here, you can see that once it's fully awakened, once you have all the dupes, once you've invested all the eggs in it, the party wind attack up is 20. The max HP up is going to be 8%, compared to Tetrasylphid, who is running, gosh, plus 15 accuracy when fully awakened, and plus 35 wind attack when fully awakened. Not only that, of course, significantly higher attack and HP. And honestly, I'm gonna say, if you have a Tetrasylphid, you probably should just not invest in this card. Throw some eggs into your Tetrasylphid. You know, even at 1 star, you're gonna get it almost as good or better than the Feelings That Do Not Reach card. Or sorry, that's not the name of it. The Unreaching Affection card. I think this card's a trap, and I think a lot of players might fall for it. Of course, if you're that player, though, that is like, holy shit, I'm never going to get Tetrasylphid, go ahead and level this. Like, I get you. I never am going to get Ildira. But apparently I'm going to get Mona on Genshin Impact. So screw you guys. I'm going to get a Water Mage somehow. But yeah, I think this card is pretty trash, and I would not invest in it, particularly if you already have a Tetrasylphid, because I feel like Tetrasylphid just does everything better, cheaper, and more effective, even if you don't have the Tetrasylphid leveled or maxed out. One other thing to think about as well with this card is keep in mind that Howlett's going to be coming out in the near future, and he is a wind unit, so he is going to be a potential viable candidate for a wind attack up card. Something to think about. That's going to be, you know, like a month or two down the road here, but it is something to think about. Let's talk about Fenrir, because Fenrir is a significantly unique card. He's the first card that adds agility, as I've mentioned, and the first card that adds dexterity. When it's fully maxed out, it gives you 50 dexterity and +4 agility. Really important, there's no magic on this card. So this card is really for a physical attacking unit. And I think that's also important in regards to things like dexterity, or, you know, like having dexterity on the card, being able to enhance your accuracy of your physical units, whereas a lot of the magical units right now, like Kilfei, have like surefire attacks anyway, so the dexterity isn't going to really affect them that much regardless. Having a dex 50 for units that are going, or like significantly, for units that have less dexterity than normal, that would be like Warrior of Light, for example. This would be a great card for Warrior of Light because it kind of closes that dexterity gap that he has in his primary stats, adds agility +4. But again, there's probably a lot more relevant units that you could put this on. Particularly, I'm thinking with the agility +4 in like live PvP builds where agility is really critical. I could see people placing this card on specific units to have their units hit agility thresholds that otherwise they might not have been able to meet, or potentially hitting those thresholds without using an agility plus single unit card. So that would be like Secret Orders that adds a single unit effect of agility up, for example, and then you're also getting a more defensive, more powerful party-wide effect. So I think this card, if you're in the live PvP scene, is a must get. And I also think it's very, very powerful for a lot of the units that have been released. So it's going to be very powerful against Kilfei. It's going to be very powerful against Rain, Miranda, Ayaka, who's running around spamming Holy right now. Having that magic resistance plus 20% for your party is so critical. And not only that, you know, having that HP plus 10% on that unit as well, very important as well. You might have a really squishy unit that you want to put this on, you know, that you want to survive one more hit, but you also want to have a beneficial card on it, for example. This is a great situation for the Fenrir card. Some important notes here, though. This card is not going to protect you from a lot of units that are coming out in the future. I actually got really excited because I was like, magic attack resistance, that's going to work against Howlett. It's not going to work against Howlett, guys. Most of Howlett's attacks are slashing attacks that are modified by magic, right? Because he's very similar to Spellblade users, but the attacks are modified by magic, but they are considered slashing attacks, not magic attacks. So the only real unit that's coming out in the near future that this is going to affect for us is going to be, his name's Skull on here, but it's Scar. He's going to be like a Thunder Black Mage that's going to be coming out, and all of his attacks are magic based, and a lot of people probably aren't going to even be chasing him anyway. He is going to be the first magic based chain, sorry, no, not a chainer. But he is going to be the first magic based user that has multi-hit magic spells. Sorry. He's not a magic chainer. He is an elemental chainer. We have to get that right because magic doesn't chain, the element types do chain. So in terms of pulling for Fenrir, the card is cool. It's unique, it's niche, it's powerful against groups that are out there right now like Ildira, but it's not going to protect you from a lot of things that are coming in the future. And I think Howlett is probably the biggest fear right now, and honestly after Howlett it's probably Kayn, and none of those are magic attack users, and ain't nobody scared of Rosa, let's be honest. So I feel like while the card is unique and powerful and niche in some situations, and right now probably pretty powerful against anyone who's running magic comps with Kilfei or Ayaka, I think it's not as powerful as, say, his Esper. I think his Esper is really good in terms of balance because it both gives you that magic resistance, it also gives you attack and slashing attack. So he does it, I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because we're transitioning out of a magic meta right now, right? We just got Ruinstern, slashing is going to be really predominant, but at the same time there are still a lot of magic units, and an Esper is much easier to level than a UR card, right? So I think in that way, the Fenrir Esper is going to have more viability in terms of surviving kind of in the short term, right? He's going to be getting the Esper is going to be a faster investment. It's going to have more return on investment immediately, and it's going to help you right away. He does have single unit magic attack resistance plus 15%. And then also important, he also has 10% resistance to wind. So he's going to be really good against the Ayakas out there. He'll probably still be good when Howlett comes out, I imagine. Because while the magic attack resistance isn't going to help you against Howlett, you're probably going to see more Ayakas being run with him and maybe some magic attack boosting units. So you might actually want the wind resistance from Fenrir and the magic attack resistance against maybe Ayaka. So maybe he is going to be pretty good, and maybe his magic attack resistance will be good in the Howlett meta. It's really going to be hard to see what the party compositions are and what the shakeup's going to be. And I feel like right now, like, I want this card. Like, I know this, I want this Esper. I know this Esper is going to be really powerful. The card, I'm like half and half on, right? Because most of us have Odin. Most of us have War Mech. Most of us are planning on getting Odin. And Odin is 100% always going to be the better card. So is War Mech against any future magic opponents or Spellblade opponents. And it protects against more than magic attacks. So it's really a tough call. You have to think about your compositions, and you have to really gauge what your defense is against magic right now, right? If you're going to be running the Fenrir card, do you need the magic resistance on your whole party? Do you need it on a specific unit? If you only need it on a specific unit, could Leona's Castle substitute? Because you're getting that spirit plus 15. There's lots of things to think about. Other things to think about are, you know, potentially in the future, we're going to have mages that are going to have spirit piercing as well. And so maybe the spirit's not going to be as effective in the future. There is so much to think about, guys. I feel like I can't prepare you for everything that's going to happen. What I will say, though, is that I'm excited for the Fenrir Esper. The card I'm 50-50 on, but I will max it out probably eventually. But I don't see it getting used very often with Odin or War Mech. So we will be pulling for Fenrir on the stream tonight. Hopefully we'll get him. I am hoping they do a 10k guaranteed step up, just so that we're guaranteed to get the Esper, because I think, again, that's going to be the biggest return on investment. And I hope you guys are able to think a little bit about what cards you have, what compositions you're running, and whether or not Fenrir is going to be right for you. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure you check out our stream tonight from 9 p.m. Pacific time to 1 a.m. Pacific time. We will be doing polls as soon as reset is done. And of course, as always, if you are going to be buying Visior, please use my affiliate link at dig.gs/coins. And the dig.gs/offer link is limited time, and we have read out of the 10k ones until Glaciella comes out, but you can still get the 5k one from the dig.gs/offer. So make sure you check it out. Thanks so much, guys, and have a great rest of your day.